Yeah, we're very fortunate to have Carter today. Carter's been, on the front lines of the battle now for the last year behind the scenes with Calsa. Carter, how long have you been doing this now? For quite a while.
So I've been working in solar for about 15, 16 years. I've been with Calsa for over 6.5 years.
Awesome. Yeah. So Carter and I have kind of been working behind the scenes back and forth on all this good stuff and high level. So I thought it was an appropriate time because we still are in this opportunity window, which Carter will explain, to kind of really influence this decision that's coming down. So I think that the timing of it's perfect. We're so blessed to have you, and Carter's going to, kind of give you the big frame picture of what's going on and how it impacts you and the action steps that we can actually take to fight the good fight. So we're super packed for time, so we're going to get Carter right on. And Carter, do your thing, brother. Thank you so much.
Okay, excellent. And I'm going to share my screen for those of you who are able to see it safely. It seems like some folks might be driving. So hi, everybody. Carter Lavin here. I'm with the California Solar and Storage Association. It seems like for some of you this who might not know us, the easiest way to think of us is, there's big pharma, there's big ag, the big lobbying groups out there in the world. We are big solar. So much like there's the Association of Teachers or the Almond Board or the Dairy Council, we are that for solar in California. Power is a member of ours, as is another 700 something companies. And we are the ones who, when, right now, a lot of you are helping people save money every day on their electric bills. Shockingly, the electric companies don't like that. They don't like their customers saving money, not giving it to them. And so they try politically to stop you. We are the ones who push back. The big fight that is happening right now, and yes, it is a fight, is this issue around net metering. It's called Net Metering 3, NEM 3. Some of you may have heard about this already, and I'll give you all a little explainer about this. So we're going to talk about not only what the heck is happening here in California and what it means for those of you outside of the state, but how you, specifically you, can step in and save solar and help your business. So to recap, and I want to take a step back, just for those of you who might be newer to solar, net metering is simply the rule that when your customer is making more power than they need at any one time, they send it back to the grid. So it's Sunday, sunny day, your customer is out at the park, their solar array is still producing power, they're sending power to the grid. Right now, they get credited at about retail rate, 26 cents a kilowatt hour, depending on where they are. That is net metering. And then they pull from that net. That's what net metering, that's what we're talking about. The utilities have been attacking that, specifically PG&E, Edison, San Diego Gas and Electric, and California. They've been attacking that. And in December, about 8 months ago, they got the state of California to propose a tax on solar. Insert your favorite California joke here. But so that proposal has a $8 per month per kilowatt fee on solar. So for those of you who are doing some quick math, put in the chat the size of the last project you sold. I know some folks are maybe selling 5 kilowatt projects, some folks may be selling 10 kilowatt projects. But if you're selling, so okay, we got some bigger projects coming through. But let's take Calvin's as an example. Calvin sold a 7.2 kilowatt project. So that 7 kilowatt project has an $8 per month fee. That's what's that, like $56 per month. Per year, that's whatever, we get up to like over $1,000 a year pretty quickly. That is just a tax. That is money your Calvin's customer would have to pay the utility for the right to have solar that derives no value to both Calvin and his customer. That is super bad. They also propose this glide path. So right now, when your customer sends power to the grid, they get about retail rate at 26 cents. The utilities want to make it so they only pay 5 cents. So that is a massive reduction of power. So for Calvin's 7.2 kilowatt system, about half the power it makes in a day is sent to the utility, and it gets credited to the account. About half is used on site instantly. So of that half that's sent, they would get 80% less value of the tower. And then there's retroactive cuts. That's for more existing folks. Basically, proposal that the state government of California put out in December would have pushed residential systems to have about a 15-year or longer payback. So for those of you, if you can put in the chat about like Reggie or Larry, you're talking the 8 kilowatt system, 15 kilowatt systems, good healthy systems. If you put in like what was the lifetime payback of that system, typically right now it's about 7 years, maybe 6, 5 if you got good pricing, 8. Yeah, pushing something back to 15 years is bad. As someone who has been in solar for 16 years, 15-year paybacks is like what happened when I was starting in this industry back in 2008, I guess it was. Oh God, I've been doing this for a while. Not good. The good news is this is the scariest slide of the whole thing. So if you're like, oh good, this is really good, this is the scariest it gets. So as you can see, this is bad. We don't like this. This would not be good for you, for me, for Jonathan, for Rick, nobody. So we flipped out. This is being recorded. I'm going to keep it with we flipped out. Is polite is the polite response. So we did things like filing over 150,000 public comments with the governor. We got 150,000 people to sign a petition. The picture on the left with the Monopoly man is the big delivery day. I myself moved the boxes out of the van to the governor's office. It was a big cardio day. We also worked with a lot of our friends and allies, like former Governor Schwarzenegger, to get a bunch of media to cover how terrible of an idea this is. It's a clip from the New York Times. And in January, we hosted some big rallies against this, basically showing, hey, this is terrible, don't do this. In response, the governor, in response to the pressure, the governor said more work needs to be done on this issue. Not exactly, for all of you, I mean, you're all salespeople, that is the I'll think about it, give me some time to think about it. Which, a slow yes is better than a quick no. This means we're still in the game, not the best answer, definitely not the worst answer. And so that was back in January or so, February. And in that intervening time, the utilities hit back. So they hit back with 30 attacks, basically. I don't know if you know this, but evidently you're all billionaires. The solar billionaires are who the utility says is the big evil bad guys who are just hurting, the rest of the Californians. I believe they couldn't get a picture of Rick Joseph leaving his private jet with your cardigan, I think that is, the pullover. But so this is, the utility spent millions of dollars on lobbying and this, and attack ads. So stuff like this went out to a ton of Californians. We, of course, are not sitting on our thumbs. We struck back. So there were things like lots of rallies, a lot of folks power, including Santa Claus, which I didn't realize until I was reviewing this slide deck, but there's Santa Claus right there next to Jonathan Budd. I have questions about that for later. I don't know. Okay. So we did.
We pulled out all the stops, Carter. We made some phone calls.
We got St. Nick on our side.
We made some phone calls.
Yeah. And so this is about 3 weeks ago that we got a bunch of people in LA. The picture in the lower right is about 1,000 people in line to give a physical in-person comment to the commissioners making the decision in San Francisco. We've done like sit-ins and phone-ins, a lot of stuff. So for those of you who are kind of tuning in, the thing to know is we are at like the 10th round of this big heavyweight match, a lot of punching, a lot of counter punching. Are we Ali? Are we George Foreman? That's, we'll find out depending on how this thing goes. And so the government, after that pause, came out with a new proposal. On the right of the screen, we talk about it. Basically, they lowered the fees a little bit. They said maybe they'll do a more gentle glide path, but it's not good. Like, it is a punch to the throat as opposed to a punch in the face. That's not good. We're still looking at a 10-something year payback. And so we are still not happy. the important, and the key thing for you all to know also as part of this is in August, which is a million years from now, but also only like a couple of weeks, is when the final decision is going to be proposed with a lot more details. In September, it will get a vote most likely, and then implementation in January. So for you all tuning in, if you're like, okay, that was a lot of noise, Carter talking kind of quickly, what's the thing to know? It's August, September, January. That's the stuff. So I got some good news, got some bad news, I got some great news. The good news is what we've demonstrated is that pressure, all these and all that stuff, that works. If the governor didn't like us, if that didn't work, we'd have lost in January. This conversation wouldn't be happening that we're all having right now. We were able to win this delay because public pressure works. So that's great. The actions that we take matter. Always good to remember that. There's also lots of different ways that we could still pull out a victory on this. And there's a lot of pros and allies and just pro-solar people speaking out. So the good news is this is totally winnable. Despair is the wrong thing to be feeling right now. We got this. But here's the kicker. Here's the bad news. And there might be some people who are tuning in, for kind of some of the first time. The bad news is you, the person listening in, there's 100-something people here. If we're going to win, you need to take action regularly. This is not a cheering on John and Rick and Jonathan Budd as they're doing the stuff with me on the field. You are on the field as well. You might not recognize it. You might say, hey, I just got here. It's like, bad news, you're in the field, like you're a solar warrior. This is part of that battle. So that's the bad news, that you, as part of this team, there's stuff to do. The great part is it's actually really easy to do things. And what I think you'll like and you'll find is the stuff that is needed is exactly the kind of things that you all are as people. Like what the things that we need right now are good communicators who are friendly and kind of ambitious folks, which is exactly you. This part of the talk is a little scarier when I'm talking to engineers because it involves talking to people and they're like, I don't want to do that. But you all are extremely social people. So this is just the thing you are great at. And so you have a very specific role in this. Very straightforward. Get as many customers, leads, neighbors, friends, all your people to speak out. That's it. Very straightforward. And what speaking out means is calling the governor. We have a link on our website, calsa.org, and signing the petition at savecaliforniasolar.org. Those are the two things. That is our signing on the dotted line. So you're presenting contracts to people. The thing that we need, this is the end of our sales funnel, is getting people to sign the petition and call the governor. This shows the governor that there is overwhelming support, that NEM 3 is extremely bad, and that people want him to step in. The more we get, if we got, we already submitted 150,000 petitions back, months ago. We get another 100,000 in the next month. That shows him, wow, this is super important. It doesn't count for people just shout into the void. They need to call his office. They need to sign the petition. And by doing it through these links, we as CalSA kind of are able to track and then ask people to do follow-up things. So you're pointing people to this. And the other great part about it is you all are extremely creative, wonderful people who are getting more creative by the day. You are experts in getting, in talking to people about this stuff, about solar. And so whatever tactic you're most comfortable with, whether that's like a phone banking or door-to-door or whatever, go for it. Go nuts, have fun. We just need people to sign the petition and call. And the more we got, the better. So like, go for it. Go forth, have fun. And I have two last bits of recap before getting into the Q&A, and I forgot to set my timer, so I forgot if I'm good. So just to recap, NEM 3, super bad. Final decision real soon. We can win. This is very winnable. You have a vital role in winning this. And by I say you, I don't mean power nebulously. I mean like Barry, you got stuff to do. and there's 100 other folks on the call, so I'm not going to list you by name, but like that level. And also I'm here to help, and I have my stuff. So like, talk to me, Jonathan, Rick, they've been plugged in. We'd love to do it. And then here's the, I'm not going to say secretly good part about this stuff, but like in terms of you and how you can use this to put more money in your pocket, this is a wonderful excuse to talk to everybody about solar. You know, you're saying to them, hey, things are looking not so good. Today is the best day to go solar. Today through about November, we'll see what happens after then. And you, by coming in and saying, hey, look, this NEM 3 thing is serious. You should go solar today. Let me talk to you about it. That builds trust and that educates folks that helps you get the sale. Bad solar salespeople now are saying like, oh yeah, there's this NEM 3 thing. It's bad. Just go solar. Don't worry about it. They're not saying, here's why it's bad, or here's what you can do to stop it. It's like right now, when people sell against NEM 3 without any sort of education, it's a little predatory, and it makes people nervous. It makes people say like, well, I don't get what the issue is. Like, why am I safe if I go now? The more you actually educate people about the timelines, and the more you equip people to take action, they'll say, got it. I'm going to still go solar now, but I'll call the governor, I'll yell at him, I'll sign the petition. But now I know that like I'm still okay, and that this person I'm talking to gets it. So basically, when you all are doing everything you're doing, great, do all that, but tell people and call the governor and sign the petition. It is an easy thing to tack onto it, and it helps them know that their agreement with you is safe, that we're talking about the future thing, that the door is closing, and you're encouraging them to help keep it open. So I just spoke a whole lot. Happy to take a lot of questions, answer, do some Q&A, depending on the time. And let's, I don't know, Jonathan, I don't know how much time I have. I look at some questions coming through.
Thank you, Carter. I think one theme for everyone to know, I know we mentioned those 3 dates, a possible proposal in August, a vote in September, and enacted starting January. Does that sound right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, and these can all change. That is the most likely with now. The whole thing was supposed to be over actually a few years ago, and then various things have kept happening. This is now, but the kind of excuses to kick the can down the road are running out. We're at the part now where if the proposal is not August, it will be September. So if the decision is in September, it will be October. And then implementation is 120 days after the vote. But typically, they also like to try to sync it to the year. So if 120 days after the vote is, January 5th, they might just say, yeah, let's just do January 1st to keep it easy.
Got it.
Have some legal leeway that way.
So your install needs to be done, guys. Your inspection needs to be done, and your interconnection agreement needs to be submitted to the utility. Just to be conservative, that is what needs to happen as of now. Let's say by January, guys. So not only is the tax credit lowering, but NEM 3 sounds like will absolutely happen at some point next year, if not January. Yeah, I think we could take 1 or 2 questions.
Sure, and also it's a little bit different for commercial on the timelines, but for residential, which is what we're mainly talking about, this is that. Looks like Bill, you got a question?
Yeah. Hey, Carter, how you doing?
Hey, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Excuse me. Was anything done with respect to the rewriting of the proposal at all from our efforts at the rally?
Yeah, so that was the big part about. So that was the part about May. So they came back after our big first rallies in January and all the public comments, and they said, we're hearing that this tax is bad. We're hearing that the drop down is bad. So we're going to lower that a little bit. And we're like, okay. And so our response is, okay, fine. You went from a 10 to an 8. We need you to crank that way down. So they have shown that they've understood that the stuff that we're saying is bad is bad. They haven't gotten the level of severity, and that's why even more people getting louder puts more pressure and kind of helps turn that dial. So if we had 200,000 Californians speak out in the next month, which there's 100 people on this call, you all will talk to 200,000 Californians in the next month or so pretty easily. That helps us turn that dial way down on NEM 3. And when someone was asking about potential outcomes, it'd be very possible for the governor to say, hey, look, phase this in over 7 years. This is giant, just phase it in very gently. And then we as an industry would be able to adapt. We'd have plenty of time. We could figure that out. Part of what makes this so bad is this is, January 1st. Like when you're talking to someone in December, they're gonna say, oh, can you get my project installed in 2 weeks? And you'll say no. It's like, okay, well, their kind of de facto implementation is December just because of that timeline. So the more we push now, the more different types of victories we can get.
Okay, great. His information is on the screen, guys, and then we have the links in the chat as well to call and sign the waiver. So please
Yeah.
look into that.
And if I can ask if we can get a commitment for all 100 people on the call to make that call, at least make the call to Newsom, right? That's something easy that we can all do, and then all sign up for the mailing list, and there'll be other calls to action that Carter and Kelsa can bring us in the loop on from here on. But we all definitely need to be engaged, and thank you, Carter, for articulating the urgency of this. Like I said earlier, we've got this window of time, right, Carter? It's the next 30 days or so where our actions are exponentially meaningful of what we do over the next 30 days. So like you said, part of being a warrior is fighting this fight. So
yeah. So great. Well, thank you all so much. And that's my contact information is there. So as you have questions, send me an email. I'm here to help you help us win this. Thank you.
thank you, Carter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carter, and thanks everyone for supporting this so that we can help save California solar. I think California leads the way on solar for the country. So even if you're not in California and you're watching this, it's important that we get behind this to lead by example.